Ask that question again. Aha.
Me.
Alonka, I missed what you said then.
Me as well.
So, Robert, are you here for the first time?
Yes, I am here for the first time. Bill invited me.
Ah, nice.
Okay, let's start.
He already has his drink in hand, so he's good to go.
So who who does the welcoming ritual? Jenny?
The whirlwind ritual. What do you mean by whirlwind ritual, Elonka?
I don't know. It should be one.
Like the hypnotizing windmill. But it looks like we need to do it tonight, but I can just mention it to everybody. As you see, MIMP made quite a movement to press the YouTube button. So we are live streaming on YouTube. So we always love to see your faces and have your contributions with your camera on. Oh my goodness, she's just put me on the full screen. Oh, scary. So I'll be your master of ceremony. But of course, I shouldn't say that. Give me a better word. What's a better word for master of ceremony?
Mistress.
I will be. Who said that? Who said that? Give me a better word than mistress for ceremony.
Someone said host.
Host. Okay. So I will be your host this evening. And it's really lucky that it's an easy agenda because otherwise I wouldn't be able to remember it. It's an unconference, but basically let's just call it unconference. We like to call it, how do you say it, Yin Yang? How do we call the
Tea Bar Beer Pub?
The Tea Bear Beer Pub. Think of it as a bar. Yin Yang.
Yes.
My wing woman.
Okay.
She's a bar lady. If anybody wants to order some virtual drinks. And sorry.
Go ahead.
We've got no text tonight, have we? And my timing's terrible. I'm going to go to Arnold for coaching on timing one day. But anyway. So the format this evening is, if anybody would like to try out a concept, it's around design thinking, anything to do with design thinking. That's why we've called it the Design Thinking Drop-In. Then you can book a table. Book a table at the Union.
You put your topic in the chat, and then MIMP will make a breakout room for you. So you have your own table in the breakout room, inviting guests to have a chat with you.
And how do we call that? So a table at the Tea Bear Bee Par Pub. And all you have to do is put the name of your concept in the chat, or direct message MIMP, whichever you prefer, and MIMP will put the rooms together. So do we have anybody who knows that they would like to book a table this evening? Somebody like to show us how to do it.
I'm open to it. I have some questions about that before I commit to it.
Okay.
What's the duration of the commitment?
What's the commitment?
What's the duration? Like, how much time are we committing to? I have a couple of meetings that I need to prepare for later, and I need to make sure that I'm not overextending myself.
Well, our bar is open until 6 o'clock this evening. So it would be really nice if you could hang out with us till 6. If there's enough animo, we'll go for off YouTube afterwards for half an hour. And if the weather's too good where you are and you want to go swimming, we can cancel that.
Okay, I'm going to guess that time zones, that 6 o'clock is your time, and it sounds like you might be in the UK.
Haha. So some assumptions going on here.
Is it 4 o'clock for you right now?
No, it's actually, you're right. I'm on mainland Europe, and it's 5:10 for me right
5.
now.
So we're talking within the hour is the time commitment. Perfect.
That's the commitment. And the actual breakout, the table, you book it for, I think it's about 20 minutes, isn't it, Mim? The actual table is 20 minutes. So you're actually, if you claim a table and you want to hold the space, and you would be the facilitator around that, the conversation facilitator, it would be really cool if you would stick it out to the end of the breakout room.
Yeah, right, end of the 20 minutes. That makes sense. Great. I love unconferencing. Super happy to be here. Thanks. I definitely will put a topic in. You want me to put it in the chat?
If you put it in the chat, Mimp will be keeping her eye open, or you can direct Mimp. She's our Zoom J today. Okay, so that's the question. And is there anybody else who knows? I saw some stuff coming up there. So me too. Raluca, where are you? What are you up to today?
I meant with the unconferencing. Love the unconferencing.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so Mimp's doing this.
But Brett's topic is making me wonder, what's the catch for design thinking? How do you design a weird person?
It seems you have taken an invitation to enter and sit at his table, eh?
That's a great
Curious.
That's a great comment, and you are falling into the trap that I have laid for your design mind to consider joining my table.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So Brett is using clickbait.
Yes.
Clickbait. Oh my God, we've got some real savvy people here tonight. Oh, tonight, of course, it's not a night everywhere, is it? Oh my goodness. So well, how many rooms? We've got quite some rooms going on there. How many people are we? 22 people. How are you doing, Mimp? Have you seen how many rooms you need?
I'm still counting. Give me a little bit more time.
So there's still stuff coming in.
Yeah.
Enter at your own risk from Brett. Feel free.
Exactly. And Jenny, how to deal with this if you are alone in your room? How to deal with that?
Well, I reckon, so what do we reckon? I think if you're alone in your room, yeah, I guess you could just get up and leave, couldn't you? Because Mimp's going to, you're putting on the allow participants to choose their own room, right? So if you get there, I personally think it would be nice if you would facilitate your own concept. We're agreed on that, aren't we? If you claim a table, you're pretty much committing to be there. Unless you get there and you want to leave the room, but yeah, how you'll deal with that, I don't know.
Okay, I could make a suggestion. Some people need inner monologues. They need their inner theater to play a play. Call for me and I will come.
Oh, that's a nice suggestion. So if somebody's on their own, oh, cool, nice idea. But we could also keep view. So how would they do? They would just send a message to the Zoom J that they would like some attention.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. A one-on-one with Yin Yin, possible later.
One of my favorite rules in unconferencing, or that I learned from unconferencing that I bring to the rest of my meeting life, is that whoever shows up at the table are the right people for that table.
Exactly. Thank you, Brett.
Oh, so there should be some rules that I'm quoting now. So if I say the word, are there any other rules that I didn't know about? So keep going, Brett, or anybody else. Are there any other rules for unconferencing?
This is a rule from open space technology, and one of those rules is the rule of 2 feet. So you can leave and go anywhere if you think you can't contribute anymore.
Okay, and does that include the leader?
Yes.
I see some heads nodding, even the leader.
I've seen the leader hand off the leadership to someone else and leave the table. So I think there needs to be a leader left at every table. Unless a table gets abandoned by one person who's left there by themselves, I think they can abandon the table. But if you're declared the leader, I think it's assumed that you keep leadership until you hand leadership over, but you don't just abandon ship.
Okay, cool. Okay, so how are we doing now? There were lots of ideas going in there then. So who's actually active? Can I just see your hands? Who actively was up for holding a room? A virtual real 1, 2. Oh, Doug Dietz, an old speaker earlier in the conference series. 2, Cecile, Raluca, 4 rooms. And maybe there's something that I can't see on my screen.
Now, one thing I've seen that's worked really nice is when you have this kind of table set up, have each person that's going to host the table do a quick, like 30-second stump speech of why you would want to join that group. So they kind of get up on the stump, talk about why you should join their table, whatever that discussion is going to be. And then that allows everybody to self-select to the group they want to go to.
Okay, so that's a good primer then for maybe the first one. So I don't know who wants to go first. Who will she? So Cecile is next to me, to my right on my screen. Then if I throw the ball to you, Cecile, and if you'd like to give a minute or what you'd like to do in your room.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. So I think it follows on from last week. We were talking about what do we mean by leadership? What's the difference between leadership and management? And then also I think a lot of the interest came down to leadership styles, the role of followership. And I think we also spoke about inner leadership. So I think we want to unpack that a little bit further and I guess be guided by the group, what they want to explore. Thank you.
Nice, thanks, Cecile. Okay, and then the next one going along then would be Raluca. Raluca, what would you be doing at your breakout room or bar table?
So you caught me checking my phone for the description that Mimp wrote in the event sharing. But it's basically about, I'm curious to hear how you use design thinking outside of your work. So if you're a facilitator, outside facilitating, inside your organization, but not at the course or not during a project. I'm really curious to hear more about that. And just a teaser for you, last night I was checking the entrance to my building block and I thought about design thinking while seeing that. So maybe I can share that with you in the breakout room.
Okay, right, lovely. Thanks very much then. So what people are doing with design thinking outside of, so not in the professional environment, but outside of office hours. Cool. Then the next one I think would be Brett. Am I right there? Brett's the next one.
Yeah, are you asking me? Because I don't have the list. Are you asking somebody else for the list?
No, I'm asking myself. That was my inner dialogue. I'm checking my screen and I was like, okay. So I think the next one, if I haven't missed someone, would
Jenny, maybe you should host a table with inner dialogue. I like
that. If you would join me, Arnold, that's fine.
I will join you. You do inner dialogue, I will join you. I recognize it. I have lots of inner dialogue. So
me too. I'm coming too.
Your empathy. Brett.
Hello.
All right.
Oh, I'll let Brett go first.
Okay. Thanks. That was a fantastic handoff. Brett, the topic is what makes you weird. What I find is I help people play and innovate. And one of the first things is permission. And so in this question, there is so much, just the question itself. So we'll be exploring the answer to that question and what makes us all weird so that we can enjoy being weird together, or whatever we decide to do with our weird ways of being.
Oh my God. You just set the ball up for me to say, so all weirdos over to Brett.
Exactly. Yep, weirdos are welcome here.
Okay. Well, maybe I can get Arnold to join me over there with you.
So who else?
Okay.
Who else is going
So
to
I think Doug mentioned, I think I saw something fly past with Doug. So he's next on my screen.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so for our table, I love Thomas Edison being an ex-GE guy. You know, you need a good imagination and a pile of junk. And I know I struggle in doing some design thinking, whether it's a boot camp style training or it's even co-collaboration with the prototyping part. And just want to just throw it around at our table of, you know, whether it's ideation using the mural board, and some of those things seem to be working pretty well. But I've seen some teams stall out a little bit in prototyping virtually. So we need to figure out maybe collectively some good tips and tricks on how to do that. So virtual prototyping will be our subject.
Okay, excellent. Thanks very much. And I'm pretty sure I've missed somebody. So if I've missed anybody, can you?
I think we have Colin's storytelling in a design context and Ilona's virtual warm-ups / icebreakers.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so we'll start with Ilona and then go back to Colin. Ilona.
Actually, it's fine. I would pass because I'm also very interested in Raluca's topic.
So you're putting the ball down on the ground for now.
Yeah, unless there are many people wanting to talk about icebreakers, but otherwise I will join the other room. Thank you.
Okay.
That's
No,
such a good tactic, Ilona. Wish I thought of that.
Okay.
No, it's too late. Now I join you.
And Colin?
Yeah, I do have to leave a little bit early at the end of the session, but I hope that the hosting is not going to impede on that. So just a sort of general topic of storytelling, but specifically in a design context, how do we kind of grab onto that slippery concept and a slippery word, and how do we bring a storytelling perspective into design work on a sort of general generic conversation? Yeah, adding a bit of weirdness and fun in there as well.
Okay, right. So storytelling then with our Colin. And now have I got everybody, Mim? Have we heard everybody?
I believe so. And breakout rooms are ready. Shall I open them now?
Well, let's just check out. There's one more rule that I want to check, because obviously I'm a novice when it comes to unconferencing. So like we're like mid-20s people here, 26 people, probably a couple of people stay in the front for just so that the YouTube people have got something to look at while you're all busy. And I'm wondering, are we going to try and go for 4 or 5 people per room, or is it kind of free flow and everybody goes to, and then everybody goes to?
Free flow.
Just keep circulating. So the rule of 2 feet, as Alonka said.
Yeah.
Okay then. So I think it's pretty clear. If there are no more, are there any questions?
Yes. Which topic is going to stay in a plenary?
Oh yeah, should we? Okay.
I thought it was Cecile's topic. Is that okay with you all?
Why did you think? Okay. If you make that call, I must say I'm not sure how I'd make that decision. So.
Okay. Let's open the rooms.
Rooms are opened and you can just press whichever room you want to go to. And for, like Yunyan said, I'm just going to repeat, leadership stays here with Cecile.
Okay, bye.
Oh, I'm assuming that everybody, so while you're all leaving, I'll just double check that you know how to get to, yeah, you're all disappearing.
Don't see the button to go to the room.
Sorry? You do not see a room for a button to go to a room. And which room do you want to go to, Ilonka?
Found it.
You found
Scroll
it?
down. Yes, scroll down.
Oh, scroll down.
Scroll down and you see the rooms. And then with the titles.
I still don't see them.
Okay.
Scroll down where?
I can send you if you'd like.
If you click on breakout rooms, if you click on the breakout rooms tag, then there's a pop-up coming.
Got it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Have fun.
Have fun.
Everybody here is intentionally for Cecile's follow-up on leadership from last week.
And I'm going to, Doug, I'm going to help you get in your room.
Oh, I just saw okay, I just found it. I'm on a phone, so I was having a little trouble, but now I see it.
Recognize Dana.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Anybody needing help to go to another room than this plenary room? Okay, you're all good.
Yes, I would like to.
Yes.
Where do you want to go? On virtual prototyping, on
virtual prototype. Yeah, you got it, Maria. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. You all good here? Yeah. Cecile, perhaps you want to start a little bit and bridge the topic for us so we can step in.
Thank you so much. So, you know, not everyone was here last week, and I would like to welcome Robert as well. But we were speaking about the topic of leadership, and we had a few exercises to kind of gauge what people understand by leadership. And it was really interesting. There were diverse understandings, multiple perspectives, and I think it just highlighted again what we understand by leadership. And as I indicated earlier, the topic of leadership and management came up as well, and then followership. So perhaps, Robert, would you like to share with us what drew you to the topic of leadership? What's your understanding? What are your challenges? Maybe we could start there.
So start with the newbie.
To welcome you.
Okay, well, thank you. First of all, appreciate what all of you are doing here. So this is really good. Well, I'm going to start with the back part of your question first. Since I am retired, I have no problems with leadership. So I've been retired for 6 years, so I kind of do what I want, when I want, where I want in the world. But I thought your topic about leadership and management interests me. So I'm here to listen and learn, and then maybe I can take some nuggets from you all and help some people around different places here and there. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And Howard, I know that Howard was with us last time. I'm not sure, Howard, would you like to share with us, or maybe talk a little bit more about your understanding of leadership versus management?
Hi, sorry, I didn't get that.
Sorry, I was just saying you were with us last week, so I'm not sure if you'd like to perhaps elaborate. Robert is interested in leadership versus management. Maybe you have a few thoughts about that?
Oh, yes. So there was a good discussion around that leadership is relatively different from management. Very favorite topic of mine was the comparison of learning from good leadership and bad leadership. So there are aspects where you could effectively learn from both. Putting you into that mindset that just be open for experiences of I would say learning under bad leadership and learning from experiences of good leadership. And it's for you to be a leader of your own. I think that was one of the collective conversations that we had, that anybody is a leader, you know what I mean? So learn from those two sources of universal insight, and then be a leader of your own. So yeah, that's what I got from it.
Awesome. Thank you. Yan?
Yeah, I remember last time that we were in the backstage, suddenly leadership and wisdom emerged in our conversation, and it kept me thinking, for a whole week actually, that are we assuming that both is a concept or things or feelings? Are they overlapping? Are they the same, or when are they not the same? I really am, I'm curious what you all think about this word of wisdom and leading.
And just to come back to Robert's question as well. So there is a bit of a difference. So management sometimes tends to be focused on the bottom line, on planning, on budgeting, right people at the right time, sometimes maintaining the status quo. And in leadership, it's more about vision, the future, more connected to people, open mind, heart, will. And just so ideally, the argument would be that you need to have both. But I think perhaps, Robert, you mentioned that you retired. So maybe you want to share with us your lessons or insights that you've gained over the years. And maybe you've also got some views on what Yan spoke about now in terms of wisdom and leadership.
I was so glad to hear, I heard someone say something about wisdom, because I don't think we often get enough people adding wisdom to leadership. So that was, whoever brought that up, that was awesome. So I retired 6 years ago at 50. And I always knew I wanted to walk away and do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I think to be a good leader, you got to be a great follower. And I don't think everybody has to want to be a leader. I think sometimes you just rise to the occasion. I've had greater challenges with people who stated that they wanted to be the leader, but they didn't know how to be a follower, if that makes any sense. So I'd say if you're going to be a leader, just be comfortable following, and then you'll gain the wisdom to be a good leader, and you'll rise to the challenge. I made a career not being the number one. I knew based on my energy and how people related to me that it was better for me to be a number two or number three. And you know what? You can make a lot of money sometimes being number one, number two, or three. And then also I learned how to lead by being the note taker. A lot of people, when you're in meetings, you know, nobody wants to take notes. Nobody wants to take notes. And you go to these meetings, and what they don't realize is he or she who is the secretary controls the flow of information. And I learned that early on in my career. And actually, when people were running away for it, I ran to it, and that connected me with a lot of the leadership in the corporation I was in, you know? So I say wisdom and be the note taker.
Thank you. I think what you spoke about now is quite good in terms of characteristics of leadership. And I think you're also talking about humility. So maybe maybe that's one of the wisdoms of leadership, humility, that we don't always have to be number one out there in front. And then I think the other part that Robert alluded to was power. What gives you power as a leader? So just being in a leadership position, I may not have power, whereas somebody else who's not in the leadership position has power. So soft power versus hard power. And I'm just seeing, I know Jimena has made some comments as well in the chat about when we do something, thinking the good for everyone around us, and about responsibility and wisdom also comes when we see beyond and the impact as well. So yeah, responsibility, accountability, and impact and change.
I do see that we have Danny and Bronson also in the conversation. So please do open your mic and join us. You know, when I see this word leadership, many years ago, I was explained the word ship was related or is related to shape, to shape. I'm not sure whether, you know, it works like that in my language, which is Dutch language. It works like that. So it seems to me, or I want to think in that way, we shape leaders. And when I say that we shape leaders, it seems as, me being a follower or note taker or number 2, 3, 4, 10, 146, I also am shaping the leader, a leader. I'm not, I really wonder, you know, how you, think about it. Robert, Danny, Bronson, since I haven't heard you yet, or Jenny, please step in.
You have to excuse me. I'm just messing around with trying to get people in the breakout rooms as they come in late. I've got one ear on the conversation, and I'm thinking, all right. I love Robert's. So I did have one ear on what Robert's saying, and I thought, wow, Robert, if that's your description of leadership, fellowship, and being open for it, and not high profiling, there's hope for me yet. I'm just following all the time.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Anyway, so, and it would be really lovely to see you, Danny. We can see you there in the background if you can pop up and contribute, because we know you'll have stuff to contribute as well. And then back over to Yin Yin. I think you're saying some really nice things. And Cecile, where did you want to go with this?
I think Jimena had a hand up. Jimena, do you want to comment?
Yes, I'm trying to be like, you know what to think. I think that when Yin was saying that we are shaped right, by our environment. And I think that's very important, that we are shaped at different levels, right? Because maybe here where I am, I'm shaped by people who are here physically around me, but I'm also being shaped by you in this international context, let's say. And that's important to consider, right? We're like this part of what we're saying from the beginning with the pandemic, that we're all connected. So this has also given me the opportunity to see beyond or further, right, of what my single actions can have an impact on, or think of, or these little things that we think, oh, it doesn't matter, but it does. So yeah.
I think that's quite I think that's powerful, because you're talking about systems thinking as well. So that like holistic interconnectedness and how the actions impact others, and perhaps there are unintended consequences as well. And I think, Yen, you're very much talking to followership. So often when we talk about leadership, it's all the emphasis on the leader and the leadership styles, but followers also have followership styles. I'm not sure, would that be of interest if we go down that road? Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
please
All right.
guide
So
us.
very briefly.
I just thought of something I could, because I mentioned last week when you did your workshop about the concept of a dance. So
Yes.
that's very minimalistic. You have one leader and formally one leader and one follower. But the thing is, if the leader in the dance, so I used to do tango dancing. I love it. So the leader is kind of taking the step forward and making a space that the follower can step into. And the leader has to listen for what the follower is saying. And then the leader can then weave the message. It's obviously non-verbal. Mostly it's non-verbal, unless it's me and my husband and I'm saying, don't pull me so hard. But anyway, that's by the by. So, but you've also got the music. So the music in the background is also, so you're kind of dancing in this bath of music and you're swaying to and fro, and there's technical abilities and experience and passion. Some people have a passion for tango, and some people, I have the passion. My husband, he just does it because he loves me. So anyway, so what I loved was this metaphor of a dance, but it's very simplistic because it's just one leader, one dance, and maybe an orchestra or the music. So I don't know how that speaks to you as a metaphor for leadership and fellowship.
Definitely. I think it's quite beautiful, Jenny, because I think it speaks again to, the definition of leadership about being an active relationship. It's not passive. There should be leaders and followers. It's about change. It's not just about maintaining the status quo. And I think, again, it comes to, and we often neglect the followership part, so the other side of the coin, and how they impact on outcomes. And some of the followership styles have to do with, as a follower, how independent or critical am I, and how active versus passive am I in the organization. So some followers have become alienated because at one stage, perhaps they were too independent, too critical, but the organization and the leader didn't welcome that. The organizational culture, how do we do things around there, wanted conformists. So conformists are those who actively participate, but they're not critical thinkers. They will do as the leader says, very reliable, but not independent critical thinkers. You also get pragmatic survivors who will, depending on the situation, go as and when as needed. And then you obviously get passive followers, so not critical, not active in the organization, just mindless versus mindful, not independent, leaving everything to the leader, not showing initiative. And then obviously, ideally, we want to have effective followership, just as we have effective leadership, which is really about being active in the organization, but also critical, independent, having my own mind. So I'm not sure, Yen, what do you think about that?
I think a lot about it. What you just explained demands me to create followership trainings. I know I've been making fun of, getting leadership certificates XXL. I know I've been making fun of it, but I've never thought of creating or training good followership. It suddenly hits me now, like, how is it possible that our mind was so taken by leading? And I see Robert, please do step in. It's a thought that, yeah, it really hits me that how is it possible that we have created this situation?
And you yourself asked a very good question last week. You said, why does everybody want to do leadership development training?
Yeah.
Why are we all there? Robert?
Yeah. Nobody talks about being a good follower. I was raised, it's a family thing. We had to figure it out. If you come from a big family, you have to figure out how to follow, right? So some of it was nature, some of it was nurture from the home, but I think that helped a lot. We don't give enough attention to the followers. I think we give too much attention to the top. And I think we've hurt a lot of organizations, we've hurt a lot of people, because the top is very small, and to have the most effective organization is we have to have followers that know how to contribute based off of their maximum potential when that maximum potential is needed, if that makes sense, because it's all about, a lot of it's about timing. We haven't taught people how to follow at the right time, even sometimes at the wrong time, because you can figure that out. But I like what Cecile mentioned about the pragmatic survivor. Because I think in following, we all go through some of the transitions that she was talking to. Because I know plenty of times, I was a mindful follower, but I knew I had to be pragmatic because I didn't always fit the leader, but I understood the mission. So I focused on the mission beyond the leader. And I knew I'd outlast them because they'd probably like crash and burn if they were bad. But as long as I got the mission and the results, then we won.
And that's funny that you explain it this way, Robert. When you know this mission suits me and I'm willing to follow this mission, you are leading yourself. So what's the formula for that, Robert?
Well, last thing, I think a lot of people get hurt because we spend so much time focused on the personality of the leader that we miss the purpose of the mission.
Yeah.
And when you follow the mission or whatever you're dealing with, then you're building your own brand and everything like that. And you create the demand for yourself versus you being linked to somebody else who already has demand in them.
Very powerful. And I think, Robert, as well, last week we spoke about the balance between task and people. So as a leader, if I'm entirely focused on the task, I could end up being too autocratic, too much concerned about the job, but neglecting people. But on the other hand, if I only focus on people, the work, the organizational context, all that suffers as well. So it's striking the balance. Pedro is joining us.
Hello. I could only join now. I was finishing something. I was really looking forward for this session. Desperately could only make it now.
Thank you.
You are so welcome, being our fearless leader, missing so much, but still here. And we shape your leadership, Pedro.
Oh
so
my
this
goodness.
is, in short, the summary for you.
Should I leave now? Now I feel scared.
Follow the leader.
Yunyan, it's working.
Goodness sake, I got scared.
Just sit tight, Pedro.
Go back and assess the Zoom or the YouTube afterwards.
Don't you worry, just sit back there. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert. Yeah. This is. This moment of just only 60 minutes to be with each other is like touching. I'm not, or we're giving each other perhaps sparkles, a sparkle of a thought of, gosh, if we want to, and we would shift our mind to it and let's say, yeah, concentrate on fellowship. I'm not sure which word is best, but there seems to be something not so uncharted needs to be discovered.
I also like what you were saying about the ship and leadership. Yes. I think we also forget that in the word leader is ear. And so that means listen. You know, the words have meaning, you know, words have, and, you know, when we parse them apart, like I love when you said ship, I go, yeah, I know that. And it's like, but to be on the ship, you know, you have to be able to listen to be able to like guide it and navigate it. So there's so many things in that word that people should just take time to analyze.
So true, Robert. And even the word listen, are we actually listening or just hearing?
And even in listen, you have the word list, which is a pause.
Yes, absolutely. And enlist followers.
Yeah.
So it looks like almost everybody's back again. Some smiley faces, some question marks. There's some awe. For those people who've just joined, awe is written on the forehead of Pedro. Awe. How was that to do?
It was awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. It's great meeting some weird people.
Yeah.
Finally.
We went into the world of VR at the end, so it was a great place to go.
Yeah. Let me step in. The way how you pay the check for your table is giving a 1 minute, could be summary or a small insight that you have shared in your room. In that way, you pay the check for your table. So I think we have 6 tables. And Annemieke, you started already. So could you give us a little bit more about the room, the conversation?
Well, we talked about what makes us weird, what we think makes us weird. And that differed from everyone, of course. People could best tell for themselves, I guess. And somehow organically we went into VR, where you can be who you want to be, and you can be as weird as you want to be, which is rather exciting, actually. So
but that also raised the question: are you then? Is that the real person?
Who are you? Yeah.
What is your real identity? Maybe is that desired identity, that VR identity, or that gaming identity?
Yeah. If you can change to being somebody else, who are you really? And that's very interesting. Yeah.
You paid your bill. You paid your bill. Thank you. Next one. Colin, perhaps.
Well, I'd be happy to share. And I apologize. My camera, every time it comes on, everybody freezes for me. So we're just doing the it's not like I'm wanted by the police or anything that I know of. Anyway, I had a delightful conversation with Colin, and we talked about, for me, a much greater understanding of how design thinking is woven into the fabric of storytelling. And gave me some really interesting terms, such as embedding empathy and really getting that it's about humanizing problems. And I work with people who deal with data and come to the world as technicians and data folk, and bringing them gently into the world of storytelling without them ever having to claim that they're storytellers, because that could be harmful to their reputation, but just bringing them in a really graceful, gentle, loving way that makes them much more influential, as well as my own storytelling. So thank you, Colin. That was brilliant. And thank you, group, for creating the platform.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks.
Your bill is paid. Who's next? Doug, perhaps you? Oh, unmute yourself.
I was going to tell what we had on our table, the conversation. Doug specifically asked the group to do it. And I would like to pitch an idea for next Wednesday Web Jam. Prototype the prototype, because Doug did a really good job on explaining how he had a scavenger hunt in the house to prototype, and then you could make a list of what you can find in your house to create a prototype. So I was really enthusiastic about it, would love to be there. And then we talked about other ways to do prototype online. And somebody mentioned Minecraft, and we were wondering if anybody tried it there. And one of the other things mentioned was you could also use PowerPoint to create a prototype, and especially when you're making a user interface. So, and it's really surprising what you can do with PowerPoint once you know what you can do. So maybe somebody else from our table has some remarks, or did I say it all?
We learned from Dana that you can use how to use video for prototyping and testing. That was really interesting. Then we talked a little bit about how the prototype methods, the materials that you use online, just as that they kind of have to fit to who you're working with. So you don't overwhelm people with like a software where they're thinking about how to use the software more than thinking about how to actually make their prototype. We also learned from Doug that we all know that kids are more creative than all of us. So when we were small, we were much more creative, and we learned from Doug that you can prototype a fishing rod from paper that actually catches fish.
Nice. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, and using paper generally was also something that Dana said. Engineering with paper. You can do everything with paper, folks.
Cool. So does that mean, did I understand right, Doug, that you're actually volunteering to lead a Wednesday Web Jam called Prototyping the Prototype?
Yeah, if I can work it in, sure. Yeah, we were just throwing that out there. You know, I might need some partners
support
to do that, but yeah, if we wanted to craft something, yeah, prototype the prototype. We like that. So yeah, we could do something fun.
Is that okay then if I contact you outside the session and we'll line that up for you? Well, I'm sure everybody would love to see that. Great.
Include James and Ilonka. Okay, so we
Everybody
got
who's on the table, we've got our facilitators lined up. Lovely.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Let's move on. Raluca.
I actually asked Bjarne if he wants to share something about our discussion, maybe.
Oh, unmute yourself first, Bjarne.
If not,
okay, sorry, I'm here. Yeah, we talked a little about how you potentially could help organizations to be more design driven. And of course, one way is to start with their website, of course, and then maybe help them to break down the silos of information. For example, at universities, which often have a lot of content. So that would be one way of maybe starting a design journey, kind of like at even university level. But other than that, I mean, it's, in my understanding, it's about addressing both IT people in organizations, the business people, and of course the visual design people. So, and all these do talk different languages. So my experience has been, since I've been teaching all three of them, my experience is that you really need a facilitator to make them understand each other. Otherwise, it's not possible. And the visual design people should be the one that are visualizing for the business people and for even IT people what they want to achieve.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I have Cecile and who else do I miss? Cecile and, well, Cecile, why don't you go?
Right, so we started in a room which was called leadership, and it soon became followership. And then we realized that it takes wisdom to dance in the ship. So I'm going to hand it over to Robert to take it further. Thank you.
Tell you, this pledge period is just tough. So anyway, that was a good one. We started with leadership and management, and we gravitated to, first of all, the group was awesome with all the feedback and great tag team. So I appreciate the time and meeting all of you. But next, I think we landed on you need good wisdom, but there's so much time spent on leadership. There's not enough time spent on being a good follower. And following develops leadership, but there might be a huge opportunity if people can take the time and really think through how do we train how to be pragmatic followers, active followers, and knowing how you fit in the realm of when you're supposed to step up or step aside to be a good follower. Because I think right now, I know at least in the US, we're always talking about leadership, and everybody's like, they got to be a leader, be a leader. And sometimes I think we are damaging our own organizations by telling everybody they can be a leader when we need a little bit of all the above.
Thank you. Did we have everybody and every breakout room mentioned? Yeah, you got that? Yes. Okay. So you all paid your bill. Thank you very much. I would like to introduce to you guys the tip jar of the Wednesday Web Jam. And we introduce it to you because as the crew, we have been spending money and making costs for the MailChimp and the Zoom accounts. And we would very much like some of your financial help. So today I had the honor to be the first one to drop about $10 in this jar, and we are going to promote it too. And it's really for covering some costs that we have made. So from today on, we have the Wednesday Web Jam Ko-fi tip pot jar. Okay. So this I've introduced now, and I should go to next week's session. And Mim, could you please help me? Yeah. So next week we will have a guest who is Edward Molkenboer, and he is a social entrepreneur. For him, making social impact is his big why. That's what he does. While he's doing that, making social impact tours, he is failing forward just as us. And he will come and share his stories about failing forward. We won't be passive. We are going to try to help him, and we will use a preventative method, pre-mortem. And while doing so, we have a big interaction in this jam. So that will be for next week, and you are very welcome to join us again. Okay. And Jenny, would you like to close the session before we go to backstage?
Okay, well, maybe you can take the how do you call it? Your flyer off. Yeah, what to say? Well, for me, it was very pleasant standing in front of this YouTube video, which normally makes me hideously nervous. The red face is not because I'm embarrassed, it's because it's ever so warm in my living room today. Just came back from swimming. And I'm so glad that I could share the end of the day with you all. It's been a great learning. It was lovely to meet Robert, by the way. Glad you managed to get your technology sorted out, because it was a bit difficult at the beginning of the show. was really nice. It sounded like we really learned. We did some good stuff together. We've already got another Wednesday web jam kind of queued up for the future from Doug Deep's suggestion. And I'm not sure if, and Cecile, of course, you already did one last week. And I think Raluca has been pitching an idea with the people. So there'll be lots of stuff coming up. I'm wittering because I don't know what to say, but thank you very much. Wonderful tech hosting by Mim. Lovely bar lady from Yin Yang. Wonderful fellowship amongst our crowd. And thank you very much, Brett, for helping with your very weird description of unconference. I will review the YouTube and I will learn them by heart. Thank you, everybody. The YouTube is about to go off. And we'll see if there's any animo for after party and for half an hour. And if you guys want to go home well, you are home probably. If you want to leave the office and cycle home or drop off, feel free. And we'll be happy to see you again next week at what was it again, Yin Yang? What was your title of the workshop next week?
A business model for social impact. What possibly
next
can
week,
go
business
wrong?
modeling for social impact. Thank you, everybody.
Bye for now.
Let's wave goodbye to YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube.